Today we're going to be talking about some quarterback terminology that you need to know. Now, the first term or phrase that you need to learn as a quarterback is probably the most important phrase that you can learn when it comes to throwing mechanics, and that is keeping your weight back. So what do I mean by that? I say that a lot. You hear a lot of other quarterback coaches say that a lot. What does that mean, and how does that apply to you? So when you're throwing in your throwing motion, it starts out with your base, right? I think of every single quarterback from the ground up. So you want to be in probably a 65 to 70% loaded stance. That means that 65 to 70% of your weight is loaded onto your back leg, aka keeping your weight back. Now that's 65 to 70%. How we get there, a phrase that I tell a lot of quarterbacks, is you want your head, your knee, and your foot to be stacked on top of each other, almost like a sandwich or a burger, however you want to think about it, because that will keep your front foot very light. Now the reason why you want to keep your weight back is so you can take that weight and transfer it to the front foot. However, keeping your weight back is more than just at the start. You have to keep your weight back as you take a stride to the quarterback to get something called hip and shoulder dissociation. So we're going to talk about that later throughout the course of this video, but you keeping your weight back, you want to stride. Let's pretend I got a target out here. I stride to the target. I don't want my weight to move. I want to stay in that stacked position. I want to keep some weight behind my front stride. So now when the front foot's down, this foot is under me, and I could transfer that weight, having that proper hip rotation to create more velocity and get more distance on the ball. A lot of quarterbacks start with their weight back, but their weight transfers through, and that causes their foot, their hip to trail behind them, and they lose power and push the ball all upper half. So the first term that you need to know is keeping your weight back. Now also, you guys, if you're a quarterback and you would like to train with us this offseason, we're coming out to 8 more cities across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So check out that very first link in the description below if you guys are interested, fellas. Our next camp is going to be in Chicago, Illinois. That camp is completely sold out, but then we'll be heading out to Buffalo, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas. Both of those camps are completely sold out. And then we'll be heading out to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some info? I'll be working with every single athlete at the camp. Check out again that very first link in that description. Let's get back to this video. Now the second term that you need to know as a quarterback, or phrase I guess you should say, is hip and shoulder dissociation. So what does dissociation mean? Why is that important? How does that apply? And that's probably the second most important thing when it comes down to your throwing mechanics that you need to learn. So if I'm set up to throw, dissociation is essentially like separation. You want to dissociate your upper body from your lower body, and that has to do with keeping your weight back. They're both kind of like intertwined, or I guess you could say they both go hand in hand, right? So I'm in my base, I have my weight back, I'm ready to roll. Why do we want to have my weight back? It's so I could transfer my weight to my front foot, but it's also, I want my weight back, and I want my weight to stay back on the foot strike, so my foot can stay under me so I can rotate through. Now, hip rotation, guys, is where I get most of my power as a quarterback, but it's not about rotating your hips just all at once. I don't want to be here, step to the target, I'm trying to keep my weight back, and my hips and my shoulders open up at the same time. That does not give me something called torque, and torque is the source of all of your throw velocity and all of your throw power. So when I go to throw, torque comes from separating my upper body from my lower body. So when I stride to the target, I want my shoulders to be able to rotate back. I want the back of my left shoulder, because I'm a righty, for a lefty it's the opposite, back of my left shoulder to be on the target as my front foot gets down. I can't rotate like this if I don't keep my weight back. If all my weight pushes forward, I can't rotate my front side, and then I'm just pushing the ball. I don't have dissociation, and I don't have torque. When I stride to the target, I want to stay back, shoulders to rotate. So now my hips can fire through before my shoulders do, creating a whipping effect, which is how we get velocity, and that's essentially what torque is. Think of it like a baseball swing, you guys. When I'm in the batter's box, I'm sitting here, and hitters of a baseball and quarterbacks create power literally the exact same way. So you're in the batter's box, pitch is thrown to you, you step to the pitcher. Do you go forward with the bat? No, you separate your upper body from your lower body. Hitters have dissociation as well. Pitch comes, I step, bat stays loaded, I stay in that stacked position, then what happens? You squish the back bug, back hip comes through, bat trails behind, and that increases bat speed, aka torque, to hit the ball farther and to hit the ball harder. Same idea as a quarterback. So hip and shoulder dissociation is what you need to focus on as a QB. Now the next term or phrase that you need to know as a quarterback is something called quick game footwork. Now this is mainly for the younger guys who like to hold the ball a little bit too long. A lot of times like if I'm throwing a route like a slant, 5-yard out, quick fade, a lot of quarterbacks, what they'll do is they just automatically start taking this 3-step drop. They have all this unnecessary movement with your feet. In quick game concepts, you guys, where we have 3-step slant, maybe from my outside receivers running a slant, slot's running a slant. I have a slant and then a bubble. I have a slant flat. I have a 5-yard out fade. Those are all quick game concepts, so I need to have quick game footwork. And quick game footwork is where you're taking either 1 or 2 steps on your drop. And it can kind of vary on the system that you play in. I like teaching the 1 step, but let's say I'm throwing a slant over here and I want quick game footwork. Catch the snap, 1 step back out of my hands. Guys, more often than not, especially if you are a younger quarterback, like I would say ages 9 to 12, you don't even have the time to take a 3-step drop and sit in the pocket. So it's always better off to work your quick game footwork. You're throwing routes with your dad, receivers, your brother, whoever. When you catch the snap, I want everybody to always emphasize quick game footwork and getting this ball out of your hand off of 1 step. Now, other terminology that quarterbacks need to understand is football IQ terminology. You need to know what different defensive coverages are. You need to know how to identify different coverages, how to differentiate between cover 2, cover 4, cover 3, cover 1, etc. So if you guys would like over 500 different videos that I myself have made where I am breaking down film on the screen, highlighting coverages, talking from a quarterback point of view on how you guys can read defenses, fellas, check out that second link in the description below where it says how to read defenses. Guys, again, we have 500 different videos, all categorized, cover 0, cover 1, cover 2, breaking down everything you need to know from a football IQ standpoint as a quarterback. So check out that second link in the description below if you'd like some more information on that and how you guys can improve your reading defense's ability. Now, the next terminology that I want you to understand as a quarterback is the difference between 2 high safeties and 1 high safety. So you come up to the line of scrimmage, a lot of times coaches will have different plays. Let's talk about a play like a smash concept, for example, okay? So a smash concept, let's say I have 2 receivers on the right side of the field. My slot receiver is running a corner, outside receiver is running a hitch route. So that concept is thrown differently when we have 2 high versus a 1 high safety. So if I have 2 high safeties, that means that there are 2 safeties deep, sitting maybe about 8 to 10, 10 to 12 yards, and I have a corner on the outside. So that's smash concept, hitch, corner from the slot. I am reading the corner on the outside. That corner crashes down on the hitch, I'm throwing the corner route right over the corner's head. But because there's 2 safeties deep and I see that pre-snap, I know that when I throw that corner route, if I throw that corner route, I can't float it because that safety can get over there and make a play or hit my guy pretty hard. So I have to put this thing on a line. Now let's say, for example, it's a single high free safety look. I come up, single high free, my read's still the corner. Nothing changes about the play concept read, but let's say the corner sits. I know I'm not gonna throw that ball on a line. I'm gonna put this thing with some touch because chances are that corner, let's say it's man-to-man coverage, for example, we'll have the DB on his hip. There's a single high safety over the top, so he won't have time to get there, but I gotta put it with air so that guy on that defender's hip can't undercut it and make a play. So that's why you need to know the difference between 2 high and 1 high. It can change how you throw the ball on certain plays.